Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric in our brand new series for 2023, What? Why? Where I take a look at some of the weirder video games that I really enjoy playing, and I'm not here to make fun of these games. Every game in this series I like in its own way, and we're going to be starting off with Muscle March. That guy steals my protein powder, and it's off to the races. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But Muscle March is a very simple game that is quite absurd. When you actually get into it, it becomes highly addictive. You'll see as that front lead character goes through a wall, it gives you one of four shapes, both weights up, both weights down, and either a left or right-handed curl. And you need to use the Wii motion controller and the nunchuk to emulate that shape so you pass through the wall. That is the entire mechanic of the game. It is that simple in explanation, but when things start moving fast and you start making mistakes, it becomes exceedingly complex. But right off the top, the what, why portion of this is just how absurd all of the graphics and everything going on are. This game reminds me of two different things, neither of which they have any relation to. The first being Pepsi Man. It's weird, there's all these cardboard cutout people running around in the environment, and you have to run forward and avoid obstacles. The second is the entire Katamari Damacy series. This is made by Namco Bandai, but they have nothing to do with that series. None of the developers worked on this game, even though the music and visuals and absurd nature have a lot in common. But I will say, this game is just strange from start to finish. We need to shake the nunchucks there so we can tackle that football player, and then we get a hog pile of bodybuilders and a panda bear, or maybe a polar bear, I'm not quite sure, I'm not great with bears, and then an alien takes that protein powder, we strike a pose, and some chickens and penguins tell us to keep going. This game is just absurd, but it's the absurd nature along with the addictive gameplay that actually makes Muscle March be such a unique game. But here's the thing, muscly men who want protein is not exclusive to this game. There will be another game on this series where bodybuilders are fighting to get their protein back. I do not know why that is a subgenre in Japanese developed games, but they are entertaining, they're charming, they're weird, and they're also just really good games, which means that it isn't just weird for weird's sake, and none of the games on this playlist are just going to be weird to the point where I make fun of them for being bad games. They're going to be very weird or confusing games that are actually quite good and probably don't get the credit they deserve because they are so strange at face value. But I will say this type of game is very easy to pick up and play, but it becomes exceedingly difficult to see the ending of the hardest stages because you'll see right here, things move really quickly. And I will say that at least when I was capturing this, the motion controls were probably 90 to 95% accurate, but there are going to be some instances in which you know you did the right thing, but the gyroscopic sensors in those controllers are just going to pick up the wrong input. But more often than not, if you make a mistake, it is on you, it is not on the game itself, and that's always a good thing when it comes to motion controls. Shake them here and you'll see at the bottom right hand corner, God is telling you to speed up. God is in this game. The guy with the halo over his head, he's just part of the experience of Muscle March, along with everything else, including, like I said, kind of Pepsi Man. This seems like it might be at least slightly inspired by that game because that definitely looks like a Pepsi Man vibe going on there, and now he's on a skateboard. But the other component of this game, which is absolutely spectacular and maybe one of my favorite pieces of it in general, is the soundtrack. And I'll let you listen in about 30 seconds or so, but you will see as we get to the last section of the city stage here, it's going to start moving quickly, and I love just the cardboard cutouts kind of rocking back and forth. This game has a sense of humor. If you just saw a screenshot of it, you'd probably think it was just weird, but if you actually play it, and trust me you should, you'll love it. But that soundtrack, amazing. Enjoy. I just love the soundtrack, and it sounds so much like the Katamari Damacy soundtrack, but honestly, like I said, this was made by a new team of newcomers at the company, and this was apparently supposed to be an arcade game that was ported over to the Wii. I would have loved to have seen an arcade cabinet for this though, but we got through the first stage. We get this little dance here, we got our protein power back, and God is sitting there holding a 10-kilogram judge's gavel, and he's ripped, and he's telling you you're a muscle prince. I can't make this stuff up, guys. This is how weird the game is, but the weirdness just adds to the game in and of itself. And you get other characters, they don't seem to have any other skill sets, and one is not any better than the other. They're just pure designs, but our friend here, I think that's a Kappa, but I'm pretty sure the game calls it something different, has stolen that protein powder again, and we need to make a break and get it back from him. And you'll see now that we've gone to more of a Japanese theme, and we're running around as a polar bear, because if there's a polar bear in a game that involves protein powder and lifting weights, you probably should play as him. But this is the type of game that makes you smile and makes you laugh when you play it, and weird is not a bad thing. If this game wasn't so weird, I don't think I would like it as much, and it certainly wouldn't make this playlist, but there is a time and a place in gaming for just being strange for strange sake. And I love that about a game like this. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it becomes addicting when you're playing it and just taking a look around the area. That bear in the background, that cardboard cutout, there's something to look at everywhere. But unfortunately, you don't get to look at it that much because you're always trying to focus on that cutout. You will see that they have different colors. It's almost like Simon Says, except with weightlifting polar bears. And that's not a sentence I ever thought I would say, but it is one that I just did. And you can play this with more than one player as well. It has multiplayer mode as well. If you have a Wii and you have enough controllers and you have friends over and you want to play something completely different, Muscle March is an incredible game. And I celebrate games like this because they're unique and different. And don't get me wrong, I've got nothing wrong with things like Minecraft or Call of Duty or Fortnite, but there's so many different versions of that same formula. If you've played one, you've kind of played them all. Something like Muscle March is so unique and so different that you can't help but be enamored by what it does. And it also has a little bit to me of Point Blank vibes. Those cardboard cutouts, especially the samurais, kind of feel like that light gun masterpiece, which happened to be from Namco as well. So you can see all these different inspirations. We've talked about Pepsi Man, we've talked about Katamari, we've talked about Point Blank. I see so many different series in this game, and it's just so much fun, and the soundtrack is so unique and interesting. If they released it on something like vinyl, I would probably pick it up and play it when I was cooking in my kitchen. But you'll see here we got a shake, and we tackle that dude as well with his Victorian era collar. But we're going to move on to the third area in the game so you get a real good tour around. Now I know that the WiiWare store is no longer available, but this is extremely easy to emulate. You can also sideload it to a Wii. It's not hard to play as long as you don't feel like opening up your wallet and giving them money, which is very strange because this game is so much fun. Bandai Namco should still be selling it, and honestly I would love to see a sequel. I just love that when the players get knocked out by that banana peel, they strike a pose and kind of make their abs ripple as they get knocked out of the race. There's so much detail in this game, it's spectacular. I just can't get over it. And you will see at the top right you have 5 hearts there. You are allowed 5 mistakes until you lose. And when you get to the later stages in different worlds, being able to get to the end is a game of memorization, and it does change everything up. It's not going to be the same weightlifting pattern through each stage. You're going to have to get good at identifying what's going on. You're going to have to get really good at moving the Wii motion controller and the nunchuk, and you're going to have to even learn what the game wants of you. You don't need to make giant gestures. It's honestly easier just to have a flick off the wrist, if you know what I mean. That's what's going to allow you to actually control the game. But this is the first episode of What Why, and I wanted to start it off fun so you get a sense of what we're going to be doing with this series, because I have 9 other absurd games that I really love, but we just tackled a twin person in a bunny suit, or twin bunnies with a human face. I'm really not sure what's going on there, but our robot friend took it as well. But if this even remotely seems interesting to you, find a way to play Muscle March. Trust me, it looks weird, but it's colorful, it's unique, it's quirky, and it has an absolutely spectacular soundtrack. And this is the type of game you get some friends together for a game night, you have a couple drinks in you, and you just start laughing and having fun. And that's a lot of what this series is going to be about. Not just weird for weird's sake, but weird that makes you smile and weird that makes you laugh. But yeah, leave me a comment down below. Have you ever played Muscle March? And after watching this video, do you plan on doing it? If you're a polar bear, how much weight can you bench? I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. So weird.